All right, welcome everybody to Well Talk. I'm here with my brother, Daniel Fernandez. Daniel, bro, super excited to have you on here. Thanks for taking time today to come on to Well Talk.
For sure. First and foremost, congratulations on the anniversary.
Thank
and
you.
all of the great material, content. I guess you could say with the brands, the clothing line, and the podcast, reaching people's lives, changing people's lives. So congratulations. Happy to be on. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, of course.
So
we've always talked about different ways of doing things and chopping it up. And for those of you who don't know, my brother and I have also done music together for over 20 something years. And Daniel taught me everything I know about music and hip hop and literally like fashion, so you're kind of getting like a sneak peek inside look to how a lot of this came about just with growing up. We're 10 years apart. So Daniel's 10 years older than I am. And I've always looked up to him and admired him and just essentially wanted to be like my big bro, so it's a blessing to see what you've done, what you've been able to do in your life. And this platform, again, it's for all things wellness and lifestyle. So this essentially is just real talk, transparency, and I'm excited to talk with you here and have other people hear about some of your story and what you're doing too. So
for sure, I'm glad to be on, as I mentioned, and looking forward to bigger and better things, especially with your brand and what you're doing. And I can honestly say that after being a brother for 30 years, I've seen you grow and allow the Heavenly Father to mold you into the person that you are today. And I know life has not been easy across the board, but it's those, I guess you could say, one of my key phrases is failure is the prerequisite to success. And not saying that in any way, shape, or form have you failed in life, but just knowing that could look like a lot of things, just dealing with life and in general. We go through the motions, and we can either allow it to just beat us up, or we live and we learn. And so it's good to see, after 30 years of watching you grow up, the man that you turned into, and very happy to say that I'm the proudest big brother alive as well. So.
No, I appreciate that, dude. So again, for those listening, my brother and I have personal testimonies that go way back into our own lives and struggles and ways that, we maybe didn't make the best decisions. And, I think we've talked and we've talked about this before, where we've said God had a reason for having us be 10 years apart.
For sure.
I don't think the world would have been ready for the Fernandez brothers to be like even in high school together or college together.
Oh, I agree 100%. I think mom and dad would have had some, God bless them.
God bless your hearts, mom and dad. Yeah.
Sure.
And again, we're both dads, we're both husbands, we're both just entrepreneurs in our own areas of doing things with music, clothing. I mean, for those of you who don't know, Daniel has done some awesome work with music, even way back before I even started doing anything. And so I guess that kind of starts for me. The question is where did it start for you with, it was always a thing like hip hop and like the lifestyle and just everything. But what age were you when you were like, oh, dude, I love all of this, like the culture, the music, the clothing,
Yeah, well, I always tell people that, and this is a joke because mom and dad always had us dressed up. That my mom dressed me funny, right? And that simply means
true.
That we
shout out to Gymboree.
Yeah, for sure. Shout out for Gymboree for you. And for me, it was a place in Alhambra. I forgot the name of it. Oh gosh, it's gonna bother me.
Was it Oshkosh?
No, it wasn't. It was something else, but it was like the spot where you go, gosh, it's gonna bother me. I wish I had my phone so I could Google it, but I'm not gonna do that. I certainly will try to stay on track with my train of thought because I'll go on a tangent.
That's what this is about, though. Just, putting stuff out and content.
For sure. I'll remember it like in the middle or towards the end.
Yeah.
And you'll have to like throw like another little excerpt in there. But so mom and dad always dressed as sharp. And so fashion was certainly early on growing up in church. And then like with the opportunity to be in band and singing in church and stuff.
Yeah.
I think I have one of my first pictures that I recall with me with a mic. I must have been like 3 or 4 years old and I was singing in church. And then obviously growing up in church, the opportunity to do different things and stuff like that with choir. But I think I recall it was probably like a cousin of ours that introduced us to hip hop or me to hip hop. I think I don't know if mom and dad know this. And the person that introduced me to like real gangster hip hop.
Yeah.
Well, my cousin and I from San Francisco, we would listen to music.
Yeah.
Okay. I know. Okay.
Yeah.
So Uncle Robert gave me a stereo when I was like in elementary school.
Yeah.
And that opened up to like Power 106 and stuff like that. But a girl that was in our church for my birthday, I think it was like in 4th grade, bought me the Ghetto Boys.
What?
When my mind is playing tricks on me album. So that like introduced me to like, aside from West Coast hip hop, which I was already listening to at a young age.
Yeah.
That was my introduction to like different styles of hip hop, Dirty South, stuff like that. And so it was really just a combination of, mind you, since mom and dad were pastoring in inner city area for quite some time.
We grew up
we grew up in inner city areas as far as that.
Yeah.
So we just had different people coming in and, that's really what I can't pinpoint the exact time where I was like, I fell in love with hip hop.
Yeah.
But definitely in like 3rd grade, 4th grade, like I was really already listening to the radio and recording and pressing record on stuff. And then back in the day, I don't even know if you know about this, you could get tape on a cassette and you put it over these little tabs that were broken. They're either broken or not. And if they were broken, you put tape over it and you could record over it. So I would go on that stereo that my uncle gave me and I would press record and I'd just be in my room pressing record for house music even as well. Because I got introduced to EDM in elementary school too. So
and I was going to say that too with the EDM and the drum and bass and all of that, the dubstep, like literally you introduced me to so much of that style of music and just even growing up with having all types of different genres. I mean, I know mom and dad listened to different types of music. And then so we had the same type of just, hey, we got to listen to old school R&B, jazz, Christian gospel, contemporary, Christian music. We had like a whole eclectic style of music that we were exposed to.
Yeah.
And I think that's what kind of led to both of us doing so many different things with music as well.
Agreed. I think we've obviously had gospel in our blood, and just with the organization that mom and dad grew up in, it was heavily into like really good music. And we had the opportunity. I remember mom had a record player in our house in Whittier, and then she also had an 8-track machine as well, and it was just all kinds of music. So definitely grew up hearing a wide variety of genres and just really took on the music at an early age. And I think the first time I ever rapped or really was allowed to have a microphone and do hip hop was mom obviously saw after being in band and choir. She asked me if I wanted to perform or minister, right? In church. We had Carmen or something.
Yeah, shout out to Carmen. That goes way back. That goes way back. Yeah.
I remember that was, I think, if I'm not mistaken, it was either junior high school, but I can't really remember that far back on the exact timing. But I remember I was pretty young, so that was the first time doing that kind of music. Live. Would rewrite. Oh, I would buy instrumentals. I'd get dropped off at the mall or whatever, and I'd go and I'd just buy instrumental cassettes for all my favorite underground. At this time, I guess you could say it was underground early 90s.
Yeah.
And I would just buy the cassettes with instrumentals on the back. And that's how I was exposed to a lot of East Coast music, because, mind you, I forgot some of the names of the places, but there was so many different record stores. And then they just had like LPs and EPs, and you could just go look at all these artists, and whatever ones had instrumentals and were on sale, I would buy. And then I would get exposed to like that style of music, and I would just, some of the more popular songs, rewrite it, Christian lyrics.
Yeah.
And then that's how I got started with that. So,
and that continued on even until now. And, you know, when I say we've done music together, we literally we have music on Spotify and iTunes right now, by the way.
Yeah, go check it out.
We go by Authentic Made.
Right.
That's our actual name. And yeah, we've been able to, I think the coolest part in all this is the solo journey from you growing up doing music, and then me being old enough to eventually do music with you and go and do those things. And we've been able to perform and minister and do so much on different platforms. And we still do. And like I said, yeah, the album itself is EST 7989, which is our actual birth years. And this picture right here is actually the album cover, which is Daniel on the left and me on the right in Hawaii, which is 96.
That's crazy. That's the year I met my wife, Jennifer, too.
That is crazy. So, you know, we're, again, being on here, I think it's just cool to talk about the way that different culture, different music, different clothing, all of that lifestyle has kind of influenced both of us today and what we do. And Daniel is a man of many talents. Is not just saying that because he's my big brother. He really is. And, you know, you go back and now you look at what you're doing now, Daniel, and you've got 3 beautiful, handsome boys, all super gifted and talented. You're married. You got the dad life on lock.
Yeah.
Dude, you know, yeah. How do you find balance in taking care of yourself? Because I know I'm already answering his question kind of, but I know Daniel's routine, and you're a very busy man.
Yeah.
What do you do to take care of yourself?
Kind of, I'm not going to go on a tangent, but so I do have a very busy life. And over the last 20 years, I've been in procurement, which is a very stressful job. And I'm director of purchasing for 3 opcos, one in Colorado, one in Arizona that our CEO just acquired, and one in LA. And
Daniel is a business professional, so he's so he's got that I'm doing a lot.
Yeah, don't let this fool you. That's I know how to put on a suit since
but that's what's so cool about you as well, though, is the down to earth practicality of things.
Yeah. I definitely, you know, even at work, once in a while I dress up and be sharp, but it's a very stressful job, and I wanted to give that background because there have been times where I have not been at the there's things that stress and just allowing people talking. A lot of I mean, let's just put it this way. An hour of speaking is like an 8-hour day at a job, right? So you need to have something in your life, some type of routine that allows you to alleviate that stress.
Right.
And for some people, it's a hobby or whatever. And for me, over the last couple of years, it's the gym.
Yeah.
You know, I wake up probably about 4:30 or 5.
That one right there.
Yeah.
4:30 or 5. So just to stop you really quick.
Sure.
I'm still asleep. And, you know, I have a 3.5-year-old. I can't, like, in my mind, I can't get myself, I have to work out after work, which is another thing. But 4:30 or 5. So go ahead. You got
Yeah, so I get up at 4:30 or 5, and then I go to the gym, and I'm usually there about 6 days a week. And I'm not there. I mean, you can see my body, right? Like my upper. I'm not there to try to get buff or whatever. I know my body frame,
but it's all about taking care of yourself.
It's all about taking care of yourself. Mm-hmm. So my routine is I work out for about an hour, doing whatever it is. I got my chest, shoulders, arms, and leg routine, and back, obviously. So back biceps. Dad said
back biceps, chest,
shoulders
tricep.
If you can, chest and triceps, and then legs. So I do that, and then each day I probably run anywhere from, I'd say, 2.5 to 3 miles a day. So
that's what I was gonna say too. The running, and I mean, what is that? That's like 12, 13 miles a week.
Yeah. So there was a time where I was doing about 20 miles a week, but I had back surgery 10 years ago. So I gotta, it hurts a little bit, but with stretching and everything, I'm able to run again, thank God. So now I'm doing about 12 to 15 miles. And then if we go to Disneyland on that week, there's another 7 to 8 miles. So it could be close to a marathon a week.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I would strongly encourage anyone that's, just has a stressful job or stressful life. Cardio, for me, weight is, I like lifting because it allows me I could bench press my weight,
body
right?
weight.
But you can't. I mean, I'm never going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger or some of these big guys, and nor do I want to be. So I got to be careful too with my back, and other injuries. But the cardio is what really keeps me sane. Aside from my routine is this at night before I go to bed, that's my secret room, right? I pray in the shower. And of course, when I get up in the morning at 4:30 or 5, I go make my coffee and I stretch for about 20 minutes. And I have the word on and I listen to the word. And then I go and I hit the gym, and of course I have my music on. And sometimes you got to be careful what you put on too, because it's true, right? You gotta have that balance. But still, so that's what it looks like. But for me, cardio has been that where I won't throw a computer at somebody at work. Because I have it in me. I mean, my testimony itself is like I had to take anger management classes for an incident that I had back in the day, right? It was a fight. And you got to do that. And I can't allow that to affect my family. So instead of throwing something at somebody for acting stupid or punching a wall, I do what I do. So if you're out there and you're listening, you don't have to run, 5 miles a day, but do cardio,
something, right?
20 to 30 minutes, move, get out there and do it. And it helps me a lot. That's my therapy, right? Later on in life, diagnoses come along and you're like, oh, wow, that kind of makes sense. But now that I have this routine I'm gonna be 47 next year, dude. I mean, next month. So
that means I'm 37. What? You look amazing.
Thank you.
And I thank you. No, but every time people see you, they're always like, "There's no way." And I think the genes run in the family because mom and pop look amazing too. There's like there's no way that they're in their 70s and 60s. Right. And so what you're doing is working. Obviously, people see it. I think the development in not only figuring out what works for you is like it takes time. And I was going to highlight this too. I mean, you were a runner. You ran cross country for Maranatha High School, which back in the day they were state champions. You're talking about big time elite, like the best of the best of the best, right? Sure. And so that I think carried on into your life.
Well, that kept me out of trouble. So I didn't, and I know we're being transparent here, but I didn't do knucklehead stuff until like senior year in high school. And like, I didn't really even try anything that you're not supposed to try until college. But I think running and being in basketball, all those years.
Daniel was a hooper, by the way, too. Daniel was a hooper. Lockdown hooper, like
for sure. I loved it. And that kept me out of trouble. I don't think Because I remember even at Maranatha, there's people that would smoke weed and stuff, and even in choir class, like, hey, you want to go smoke this joint after? And I'm like, dude, like in my mind, I was thinking, you're stupid, like, because I was actively in sports and running, and I think that kept me out of trouble. Like in junior high, I remember there was kids that were acting like knuckleheads, but because I was in track and cross country and playing basketball and even a little football, that kept me so busy, along with band and you know, choir. I was in choir, so all of those things really, really helped me stay out of trouble. It wasn't until, you know, a little bit later in my years where I stopped doing that stuff for a time, and then that's when I got into trouble.
No, and you know what though? That's kind of like that. It's almost similar, even for myself. You know, going in through high school, you know, I didn't party, I didn't do any of that stuff, and it wasn't until I went into college and later on I was like, oh, wait a minute, whoops, you know, and that's a whole other story of our testimonies as well. But you know, I think number one, God has been so merciful and has blessed us, and we just continue to really just let our light shine in a way where we're testimonies to people that, like, all the time there's people we encounter where they're, you know, they don't even realize, like, you're a worship pastor, you're a minister, like, wait, what? Like, how do you know, you guys are so practical, down to earth, right? But that's just how we grew up too. And I think, you know, Dad's not on here. We did one a couple of years ago with Dad, where he set that like bar for, hey, we can talk about it stuff, we can be practical, we can be down to earth. And I see you doing that too with your kids. You know, I look at Daniel's kids as my little brothers. They're my nephews, but they're my little brothers, and it's so awesome to see your legacy now out there doing stuff too, which is
it's crazy. I have a 20-year-old.
Is Elijah going to be 28?
28 or 29?
I think so, yeah.
And then a 19-year-old going to be 20, and then obviously I got the 4-year-old.
Little Magoo MacGyver.
Yeah. So it's, you know, and one thing that we realize as we grow up and we get older is even our parents, when they were young and becoming parents, now I understand they're still navigating their lives. And they're still learning how things work, whether it be, you know, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, and financially. They have a lot of things. They had a lot of things on their plate. So often mom or dad will say, you know, we weren't perfect parents, but being close to it, right? They were protective, and they didn't want us to be in certain things.
Right. And there's no such thing as the perfect parent, right? And one of the things that is brought up a lot, especially in psychology, it's like you just got to get it right more times than not. You know, so like you get like a C+ average.
So you know, like it 6 out of 10 times right.
You're like, all right, you're getting it right. Yeah, and that's one thing too. Like, man, being a business professional, doing what you do, and balancing like husband life, dad life, brother life, family life, dude, props to you, because like you said, you've got 3 boys and they're all at different stages of their lives. And yet they're all doing well. And shout out to, you know, Jennifer as well, you and Jen, because it really touches me to know, I mean, they don't do any of the stuff that so many kids could be doing. And this is not to be bragging on them. It's just literally to say, like, they are so just like the way they live their lives is so cool to see, because
it is. It's, I guess I could say, but when I was my eldest son's age, I think I was still a knucklehead, had already been married for 6 or 7 years. She's still, you know, going out to events, and there's nothing wrong with going out to events, but I was still doing knucklehead stuff. And then at Caleb's age, that's where I was, you know, really out of.
You're saying that, and I'm thinking back too, and I'm going, yep, me too. Like we were, you know, and it just goes to show like the growth that both of us experienced too. But then seeing, and I think this goes to any young people out there as well, like, you don't have to be involved in stuff that other people are doing just to be like with the crowd, or, you know, your boys doing this, like, oh, you do, like, you can stay true to you
Absolutely.
and people will respect that more.
Yeah, because it comes full circle for me, because even though I did some stupid things, when I was in some situations that I put myself into, yeah, environment plays a big role. And I had friends at private school
Mhm.
that, introduced me to certain things
Yeah.
at Maranatha or
Yeah.
thereafter. And, so it's not just necessarily, I made decisions on my own,
Mhm.
but the fact of the matter is I come full circle
Yeah.
to where my foundational
Yeah.
roots are. And,
Yeah.
and that's what's important, knowing that, first of all, yes, God is merciful, and praying parents and grandparents, and just knowing, even in my dirt or my
Mhm.
worst hour, I always had love for Christ. I
Yeah.
never denounced Christ or
Uh-huh.
denounced, the church life, or I wasn't a part of that. And so seeing my boys where they're at now, that's his mercies,
Mhm.
right? But I can also say, even though there's times I've been in trouble or done some stupid things, I've always had that head on my shoulders from what was instilled in me at an early age to know I'm not going to go too far. There was a couple of times, yeah, I did, where it was like, oh man, but overall, it was a lifestyle that was not for me. You talk about failure being a prerequisite of success. Well,
Yeah.
my failures in that street life
Yeah.
just go to show me that's not who I was called and raised to be.
Yeah.
For sure. You try to do something in the street life and you fail. That's God.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he will not. You're
Yeah.
setting your hands to do that. He's not going to prosper that
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
He's gonna allow that to fail really quick.
That's good. No, that's true, and that's good. And I think that the impact that you've had on so many people throughout your life is, it goes to show. And there's people that I know that are going to be listening to this that will also maybe even be people from one chapter of your life,
Sure.
mine as well, and go, wow, like that's cool to see this happening, or they're doing that. And it's really cool, I think, for what we're talking about here too, is like, if you had to give some advice to people that maybe you're struggling, people that are hurting, people that are trying to find their rhythm,
Right.
what would you say, and how would you go about it? Because I know you have a whole ministry of helping, and even, especially from a dad perspective too. But what would you say? How would you?
Well, first and foremost, I don't want anyone to look at this as preaching or religiosity, because really what it boils down to is God knows our heart, right? We don't have to, you just open up these windows right here and you see the design and know that there's a designer and there's a creator.
Yeah.
In this day and age, not to like be condescending, but and for the most part, it's almost idiotic to think that there's not a God.
Yeah.
In some way, shape, or form, right?
Yeah.
But then you have that second layer of it, which is Jesus being the in the triune God, the Trinity. You have Jesus, God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. And it's really Jesus that has kept me in a position, our Heavenly Father, that relationship and seeking Him first, and always knowing that I cast my care onto Him, that when I have struggled, whether it be mentally, physically, emotionally, or financially, He's always come through for me. So first and foremost, a relationship with Christ.
Yeah.
And again, this is not about religion. This is about what has worked for me.
And we like to say it as, it's about relationship.
It's all
right?
about a
Because
relationship.
the religiosity side of things is where a lot of things get misconstrued, misperceived, misconceived, all that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
I can honestly say that religion for me has left a bad taste in my mouth. Thankfully, we have parents who are well versed in the word and have a true relationship with Christ.
Yeah.
We've seen the ups and the downs. We've seen them, spat on, drugged through the dirt, and they're still thriving, right? We've seen the good and the bad and the ugly. So that's the religion part, the religious side of it. But the relationship side is knowing that in our darkest hour, whether it be dealing with things mentally or physically or emotionally or financially, that that relationship with Christ and really casting your cares onto him.
Yeah.
You know, Jesus says, take my burden, for my burden is light.
Yeah.
You know, my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And trusting in that peace of God that surpasses all understanding.
Yeah.
That is the X factor for me, because I have dealt with some mental health issues, probably most of it because of self-induced things, you know, putting on my body or whatever. And I'm not here to like delve too much into that. But knowing that Christ has brought me through those times and through healthier eating, exercise, and a prayer life, that's really the X factor. That has worked for me. That's the encouragement I would give to young people out there, or even people my age or older. Like, just challenge yourself to say, God, if you're real, if you, let's just say you don't know Jesus, you don't know God, don't know anything.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with saying, God, if you're real, reveal yourself to me, show yourself big in my life. That's the first thing I do when I speak to someone who's an atheist or doesn't believe in God or question. It's like, I pray over them, Lord, show yourself big in this person's life. And we don't test God, but as humans, we test God, right? I mean, we have. So that's the most important thing, that relationship. And then I would also let people know that understand you're going to fail in life. And that's why, you know, failure, the prerequisite of success. Just keep doing it. Keep going. I can't tell you how many times I've been down, and I mean in the gutter down, where it was like there was no hope. There was no glimmer of hope. But because I had a little bit of college education and I just kept getting up, that's part of the battle right there. And then, you know, you may not be able to walk, so you crawl. And then when you can stop crawling and you can walk, you may use a cane, because at one time in my life I did have to use a cane. And then you may get knocked back down, and you may have to get back up. Maybe need some crutches, but you get back up. Then you start walking again, and you walk a little faster. You start jogging. And then you're running. And then, you know, thankfully now, physically and spiritually, I'm able to say that I'm in the race. I just took some detours. And we're human, and that's what happens. So just get back on course.
That's good.
You know, don't overthink it. When you do, you literally have to cast those. There's a verse in the Bible, and it just talks about literally grabbing thoughts that are putting you into a depression or causing anxiety or fear and emotion. You capture those thoughts, right? And you take hold of them. There's a movie that goes with this analogy. It's the Super Mario Brothers movie, and there's that little star. I forgot the name of Luminaire or something. I forgot the name of it. There's this little cute little character, but it's all about impending doom.
That's
you know,
true. I know
that cute voice could be in the background, but the enemy can come in all kinds of different ways. And sometimes it's yourself. Right. So you just take those thoughts and you capture them, and you just say, no, that's not what who I am, or what I am, or who I was created to be. You literally have to train your mind, just like you do in preparing for a race or preparing for a speech, or you have to train. So you train your mind to say, that's not who I am. That's not who God created me to be. This is who I am. But you also have to know, with that word of God, that's that relationship. I'm more than a conqueror through Christ Jesus. And all of those things, you know, I know it's easy to say, oh, well, you know, easier said than done. Do I have bad days? Absolutely. Do I have down times? Absolutely. Do I feel depressed at times? Absolutely. Do I feel anxiety at times? Absolutely. But I don't allow that to be my identity in Christ. So once I just say, no, I go back to the drawing board, I get back up. You know, I guess I'm not a big fan of Jay-Z, but you dust your shoulders off and you keep grinding, and you keep doing, you, it's not the one that runs the swiftest, it's the one that endures to the end. So you just keep pushing and pulling. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a position where it just financially, it didn't look like it was going to work. But that little college education that I had, and a lot of Jesus, and a lot of prayer, and a lot of just putting my hand out. Obviously, if you see it, these are stitches in my hand, but setting my hands to do something, God's going to prosper that. And declaring that. And people call it mantras. People call it, you know, if our time's up, we're good enough. People call it mantras. People call it, you know, whatever, their manifestations.
Yeah.
But you literally just have to speak it into existence in alignment with what the word says. And, there was times where I wasn't making enough money for my family. So I encourage those out there who may be in a financial struggle, where you just say, hey, you know what, God, you know my potential.
Mm-hmm.
There's gifts that I may not even know about. And he's the X factor. He has me in a position now where, like I said,
Mm-hmm.
director of procurement for, at one point in time, purchasing manager for a Fortune 500 company.
Mm-hmm.
Took a position at this place that I'm at now with 3 opcos under my belt, financially in the best position that I could be at
Mm-hmm.
for my age, with no formal college degree.
Mm-hmm.
And I know people that do have them
Mm-hmm.
at my age, and financially I'm doing better than them. But
Mm-hmm.
that's not me.
Mm-hmm.
That's just God blessing the fact that I'm putting my hand to the plow.
Yeah.
That I'm going out there, and he's seen where I've been,
Mm-hmm.
brought me to where I'm at now. What he started, he's going to finish. So that's the real X factor. I can't stress it enough, because in times where I felt like that was the last day on earth, because there was some times where I was in some positions where I was just like, man, I don't know how I'm going to get past this day, whether it be physically, emotionally, or even financially.
Mm-hmm.
I've told the Heavenly Father, not a test, but when I get through this, I'm going to give you all the honor, all the glory. And that's just how I can say, for me, it's been just his mercies and getting back up each time I felt like I failed or whatever, and just kept running the course.
Yeah. And that's so good. That's so powerful. And I think that anybody listening, you just got to remember too, it's that, like, hey, we all make mistakes.
Sure.
We all fall short, and you got to just keep going. You got to keep going. And there's so many more stories that I know Daniel can share as well. And so I think doing even a mini series on this would be really cool moving forward.
Sure.
Because of the testimony, like you said, having to walk with a cane, the surgery on your back, all the things. I mean, you're a miracle, because, you flatlined,
right.
That's a whole other thing.
Right.
And just seeing what God's done in your life and what he continues to do is such a blessing.
Yeah.
And I am grateful to see that. I'm grateful to be in a partnership with you and continue to do what we do.
Long overdue for music.
Yes. The EST 7989 part 2 has to come out.
Yeah,
so that's something that's coming out. Be on the lookout for that.
Yeah, that's going to be.
But yeah, I do definitely want to say too, one of the ways that we also cope in our family as well is we're very, very silly and goofy, and we're very humorous with each other.
Yeah,
so we joke around a lot, and it's something that we just do. And if you hang around with us for a little bit, you'll see it. Our wives know it. Our mom knows it.
Yeah.
Our dad is the leader of it.
He's the culprit.
He's the culprit.
He's the ringleader.
Yeah.
I could say, I mean, just to like tap on that really quick, comedy and being real and being able to like feel comfortable in your own skin and joke around and laughter, that's brought a lot of healing. Right?
Watching funny movies. I say this to clients all the time. I say, watch a funny movie before you go to sleep.
For sure.
Like, it sets the tone, especially after a long day, especially after just something that you're just like, wow,
That's honestly like one of the, I mean, literally every night before I go to bed.
Yeah.
Of course I pray.
Right.
I have my secret place. Secret place, don't get it twisted, right? There's a place where you're supposed to go pray, right?
Right.
And you go to the Heavenly Father.
Yeah.
And my secret place is in the shower at the end of the day, where it's where I meet the Lord.
Uh-huh.
And then after that, I go and I watch a funny movie before I go to bed. I'd say it's literally 9 out of 10 times that I'm doing that.
Same.
And it really does help. And it takes that edge off.
Yeah. It does.
For the end of the night. Yeah. You could just, that feel good movie or that comedy.
Or the feel good movie or the comedy. And humor heals. Humor helps.
Absolutely.
Like, know that.
Absolutely.
So
100%.
Yeah.
It's hard to laugh and dwell on something negative.
It's true.
At the same time.
Yeah. You can't be grateful and anxious at the same time.
Right.
Which is something that they've already scientifically proven.
Sure.
And that right there is when you start to reflect on things that you're grateful for, you can't be anxious in that same moment.
Very
And
true.
so for us, we laugh a lot.
Yeah.
But this has been super cool, dude. This has been
Absolutely.
special. I appreciate you joining in, and I know people are going to be blessed from hearing this. And so you can also follow Daniel on social media. It's OG Danny Benjamins, right?
Yeah, just how
Yeah.
it's spelled.
Yeah, it's OG Danny Benjamins.
And that's my name.
Yeah,
It's Daniel Benjamin.
Yeah, it's such a cool name though that he set up on Instagram. And then you can also like, share, and subscribe to the podcast as well. But then you can also go download the album on Spotify or iTunes. It is EST 7989 by Authentic Made.
Yes.
You'll see the picture of us. It's this picture, and then it's the wedding picture that I have of us not getting married, but literally you're my best man, and we're standing next to each other because I'm about to get married to Suzanne, which that's a whole other thing. Married life, that's another one, right? Man. So we gotta set that one up too.
Yeah, because Jennifer and I are planning for our anniversary this year, and we were out on a date last night. I know we're culminating.
Yeah, no, it's cool.
We're out on a date last night, and she's like, "You're gonna be 47 here." She's like, "Can you imagine? We've known each other for 30 years."
Yeah.
Sorry, wait. Yeah, 30 years.
Yeah. Yep.
So 30 years I've known Jennifer.
Married life. 30 years.
Dad life. Married life.
Yeah.
Yeah. Life is a trip.
Life's a trip, carnal.
Life's a trip, carnal. That's what I'm saying.
So I appreciate you, dude. Love you, man.
Love you too, man.
Thank you all. On. Yeah, of course. Thank you all for tuning in. And we'll be back next week with Well Talk. Stay tuned.
Yeet.